We'll go to these three icons here. This is information about your doctors. This is information about medication you're taking, and this is information about family history, both you and relatives. So we'll go ahead and start with doctors. So there aren't any listed now, so we'll go ahead and click the New button down here in the lower left. And you can enter your doctor's name and address and the specialty and a bunch of other information. If you're connected to the internet when you're running InfoWallet, you can actually do a web lookup of the doctor's names. So let's say your doctor's name was Johnson. You could then either click the name of the doctor here or go to the action menu and say look up business name on the internet. So you give it the starting zip code. You can have a radius of miles, how many from there. You can click on that, and then you'll get a listing if the doctor is listed in the directory. Now let's say this is the doctor, this is your doctor. This is just confirms the information. You go ahead and put it in there, and it will populate the information that you wanted. If that was not the Johnson you wanted, then we can go ahead and just do another search and look for a different Johnson. And let's say this was the Johnson that you wanted. So we'll go ahead and put the information in there. So that's how you could add records of all of your doctors. There's a field here for entering the specialty, so you could pick the specialty either out of the list of specialties, and we'll just pick this one, or you could actually type in if there's a specialty of this doctor that's not on the list, you could just enter it and type it in. And so you can do this for all of your doctors. And then what you can do is once you have the information in here, you can start logging visits. So let's go ahead and click the New Visit button. So you can, this calendar picker will let you go and pick the actual date of the visit. The arrows here will take you forward and back 1 month at a time, and these will take you back and forward a year at a time. So let's say you saw this doctor for the first time in 2006. You can pick the type of visit that this was. It was an office visit, and you can type in here and say initial visit. Type any information. You can also say and so now that's listed in the office log. If you wanted to edit that, you could always click anywhere in it and then bring it up and edit the information. So let's say you had, you could then go to the next visit. Let's say the next visit was here. Let's say this was the follow-up. So now you have a history of all of your visits with this particular doctor. And you could then list all of your doctors in there. You can also specify up here in the current box as to whether or not this is a current doctor. This would be useful if you're trying to look for doctors that you had before, and this will indicate that it's a current doctor. So you can do that for all of the doctors, and then you can do the similar sort of thing with medications. We'll go ahead and click on the New button here for the medication, and let's say you can enter the name of the medication. If you want, you can enter the pharmacy that that you got it from. And the pharmacy will have the same sort of, you can look up the business name on the internet if you were, say, looking for CVS. You could either click here or go up to the action menu. And then you could pick the pharmacy, and it'll enter the information there. If you can enter the doctor here, or you can pick from the list of doctors, and that puts the name there as to who did the prescriptions. And any instructions or notes you can put in for that particular medication. And then what you want to do is you want to track your medical history of taking that medicine. So sometimes you might start medicine and finish it at one dosage and then maybe change dosage, or some point later start taking it again. So you can click the four columns here are start date, end date, the dosage, and the frequency. So you click on the start date, and let's say you started this back in 2003. You finished it in 2006. The dosage was 200 milligrams, and it was 2 per day. So now you have the information on this medicine. You took it, you started at this point, and you ended at this point, and this was the dosage. Then maybe later on, you picked up the medicine again. Maybe you're taking it now, and so you picked it up again. The dosage maybe is different. And so now you have a history of this particular medicine, and you can have any number of medicines that you want to show up on this list. If the during this period, this was the dosage, and then during some other period, you would have a different dosage, potentially, or the same dosage. But you can actually list it here as to what it is. If the date end field is blank here, then that means you're still currently taking it, and it will indicate that up here, and it would automatically calculate it and put it here in this column as well. So you can take a look and see what medicines you're currently taking. And this you can track for all of the medications that you are taking or have taken. And then this screen is for a number of other pieces of information, family history, that when you go to a doctor's office, they will ask you about. So, do you have a history of any sorts of activities here? And you can say that you have it. If you had a date that started, you could go back and enter that date, or you could list something here for relatives. And so then this would have the ability for you to track and show different diseases or conditions. You do the same thing with allergies. So you can say if you're generally allergic to antibiotics, or maybe you have a specific antibiotic. And then you can say strong reaction, or whatever the reaction is. And this could be to drugs, or to hay fever, or to any other material. You can list your surgeries, and you can do that by simply putting it in here. Any comments about it. And then you could put the date. So let's say that you had this surgery sometime. And then you could list any immunizations that you have. So these are some common immunizations, and if you had any of those, you could simply put this in here. And you could list them. There's some immunizations you have as a child, you don't really remember exactly when they are, so you could say, just put a check there by clicking in it, and then that will say that you've had it, but you don't remember when. So these items are all around medication, or all around medical history, and so with these two in particular, you actually are tracking information, in this case for each doctor, a history for each doctor, or in this case a history for each medicine.